Welcome back. The final laser upgrade video. If you guys haven't watched part 1, please watch that. It can save you an awful lot of grief. I've got a lot of items in the description if you want to go for the upgrade. The BangGood lasers, as far best of my knowledge, picking them, they'll fit and they're compatible, but I can't guarantee it. So this video, you're going to see receiving the laser, installing the laser in the 3018 CNC. Then I'm going to show the software, how it works, what you do, and then I'm going to describe in detail the problem that I can't work around. Well, I'm working around it, but the problem that there is with every single laser that I know of in the 3018 or these kind of upgrades. I don't know how to describe it, but you'll see when you watch it. And then at the end, I'll show a little bit of engraving metal and so on. Eventually, I will do a video on how I'm engraving and etching aluminum and so on. I just want to refine the process a little bit further. So after this, I have no idea what I'm going to do on a Friday. So, hope you enjoy. Maybe, hopefully, see you next Friday. Sainsmart did send me, I've always been dreaming about doing it, converting the unit over to a laser. So this is the laser that they actually have on their website that's supposed to go with this machine. So they have a 2,500 watt laser, and they have a 5,000 milliwatt laser, 2,500 milliwatt, 5,000. So I'm not sure which one this is. I don't know. Okay, well, Sainsmart, like I said, great support, boy, really nice. This too, I guess they have a place, a distribution center in Las Vegas. Comes with glasses, everything. How nice is that, huh? Nice glasses, all right. No, it's not scratched up or anything. Big enough that you can put them over your regular glasses if you want. And here's the module. Little fan and a CD. So, boy, this is a cute little laser, I'll tell you that. Why do they give you another fan? This will definitely be a learning curve for me. I figure out how this all works. All right. Interesting. And this is the, this is the part that goes, oh, okay. This is the part that goes to the actual machine. Pulse width modulation or whatever. So yeah, there it is. So I'm guessing I have to mount this on here somehow, or someplace it goes. I guess I'll take a look at the picture, and there's probably stuff on the site, their site, a manual that shows you what you got to do. Yeah, this goes here because this goes to the laser socket. I also don't know how to run the software yet, or what you need to do. Does that go? Okay, try the other side now. Oh, I'm putting it together backwards. Yeah. Boy, this is a cute little module, I'll tell you that. Yeah, there it goes. Plugs in. This goes into the control board. Oh, and the new control board, the old one has a socket for one laser. The new board has a socket for two lasers. Not sure why you would do that. And, oh, I bet you all the documentation's on there. Because when I bought the 3018, it came with a teeny CD like this. And it had everything on it, all the installation instructions. I didn't even have to go out to the internet. So this would be interesting to figure out here. All right, so let's say you have a 3018 CNC. Fantastic machines. pick them up for almost nothing. They've got them on Amazon. Sainsmart is the manufacturer. You can get them from there. This particular one came from BangGood, so I've used it left and right. I've done everything from making holders for my ER32 collets, the ER11 collets. As you can see, I've done engraving. I've made all my little boxes to hold tools and stuff. So, but let's say you've had enough of fun here making sawdust like I have, and it's loaded with sawdust right now, but you want to convert this thing over to a laser. So it's very easy to do, and this is the only channel you're going to find that will I'll take you from start to burning something, you know, engraving or whatever you want to call it. So first, it's really easy. Plenty of lasers out there. This particular one came from Sainsmart. They have two of them. There's a 2500 milliwatt laser. This is the 5500 milliwatt laser. You can go on BangGood and different places, and you can get 500 and 1200. 500, I know one, Rob Gordon really got me turned on to this, and he's using the 500, and he's able to cut through plastic and different things with it. So any one of them is good. Simply remove the motor, you just undo the screw, it comes right out. Little heads up on this too. When I've been using this, I'll use the dust off and keep blowing the dust out of this thing. But when I took it out, I took it to compressed air, and a lot of dust came out of it, including in here was packed. So it's getting in there somehow between the gaps in the collet. So just a heads up on that. So you just simply take the motor out, put this guy in, heads up on it. This guy for the motor, the hot lead, be very, very careful. I have in the past accidentally touched this to ground, and it completely fries your control board. You will not have a CNC again. This is a newer board. So I'm plugged in on this board to laser A. There's two laser ports on it, and I have disconnected the wires from the board for the motor, so I can't accidentally cause a problem here. This guy is pretty straightforward. Pictures of it, it's labeled. One's fan, the other's laser, and then here's your to the connector here for the laser A. That's about it here. I don't think anything else I can say about it. I didn't know where exactly to put the laser, mounting it in here high or low. I put it in the middle. Later on, you'll see you get to move it around to different heights for focusing. It does a good job. This middle position here where I am right now, I'm almost dead center, seems to be the best position to give me a fine line. So I just bring here a little bit of experimenting. So started with like a lot of stuff, a lot of power in this laser, let me tell you, but I can get a really nice crisp line out of this laser. So now that you've got that all set up, let me take you over to the computer and show you the software and what you got to do to actually just start engraving. Alright, I know you can't really read everything here. I'm recording it in 1080, but it's going to get downgraded to 1280. So by 720, well, after you upload it to YouTube. Alright, first of all, there is a lot of software out there. Laser, GRBL, lightBurn. I mean, I tried a number of them. And lightBurn, hands down, was the best. Unfortunately, you do have to purchase it. It's not that expensive. It's $40. I mean, that's for what you're getting, that's a joke. And boy, that would be great if this company would make something like LightCarve so that you can run the 3018. Alright, so I'm going to launch it here, and there, you can't read, I know, again, most of it. So I am connected already to GRBL 1.1F. I'm running the latest release, stable release of GRBL in my 3018. The first thing you need to do after you've installed the program is you need to add a device. And there are a number of devices. I guess I'll do this so you can see them all here. GRBL and GRBL-M3. I'm running GRBL-M3, which is for 1.1 or earlier. And after this segment, I'll show a clip as to what the difference is between the two devices. You know, I did run GRBL, and I'll explain some of the problems. So GRBL 3 and next, and yes, it's serial USB, and I've entered in 10 inches by 6 inches. That's not the actual size of the table, but that's just what I entered in just to get it going. Bottom left, make sure your front left is checked. Auto home, make absolutely sure this is on. It's off by default, and I'll explain why you want that on in a minute here when I get into some other stuff. So once you have your device installed, you'll see COM ports here or whatever, and you can connect to your machine. So that's the first step. Now you got a device at it. Next step is you got to, in the console, you know, these tabs here, cuts, move, console, type in $, and you can see all your settings here. If anybody needs to know what all these numbers are, leave a comment or email me privately. I'll be all too happy to give you every one of these numbers. First thing you have to do is $32 is going to be 0 because you're running a CNC. $32 equals 1, and that will enable the laser. You just do $32 equals 1, enter here, and it switches it. If you go back to regular CNC, you have to set this back to 0. The next thing is $30 is your spindle RPM. When the laser is enabled, it's no longer RPM, it's your power, laser power. And I'll explain, I think I explained this in another segment of the video, but right now, for 1.1, your maximum power should be 255. If you're running version 0.9, your maximum is 12,000. So I've got 255 entered here, and this also is grayscales. So this gives the laser 255 different steps, which is 255 different grayscale scales. All right, so next up, when you hit get position, now this is why I'm saying auto home. You want this to be 00. So if you turned your 3018 on and the table was not homed, when you get position, it's going to read 00, but when you hit home here, your table's going to home in the Z-axis, and this is not going to read 00. So that's why I said auto home in that other setup, because right now if it shows not 0 when you try to burn something, you don't know where the table's going to go. Inevitably for me, it always wound up just slamming into a hard limit. So what you want to do first time is home it. Now you just got to turn everything off in the software and then relaunch it all. Then when you get position, it'll finally read 00. You burn something, when it's done, it'll automatically home. So when you shut things off, it'll be 00 next time you turn it on, and you don't have to go through this mess. So you can also, here's move to position. I've got it 00. You can hit go, and it'll home manually. You don't have to hit this anymore. next thing you're going to want to do, this is fun, edit, and well, I'll just go through regular settings first. Nothing magical in here. You do want to change your units to inches per minute. This is for a laser diode. The other side is better for CO2. Anything else? Curves, black, full again, front left. So nothing really special in here. Then the other one is edit. This one's very important. Device settings for the GRBL-M3. Here's already plugged in 10 inches by 6 inches, already plugged in left front. What you want to do is enable the laser fire button right here. It's off by default for safety reasons. The other thing is, incredibly important, S value max has to match whatever you put in $1.30 in the console. Right now $1.30, I said $2.55, this is $2.55. If you put 12,000 in there, you better put 12,000 here, you're going to have a big mess. Okay, so you enable the fire button, and I know in M3 there's a quirk. GRBL, the fire button lights up. In M3, the fire button still doesn't show up here. So you just have to close lightBurn, reopen it, and poof, the fire button's there. For my laser, I'm running the 5,500 milliwatt laser. 10%, if I hit fire, the laser comes on, stays on, and I've got a nice little dim blue dot. Now you can do focusing of your laser. From here, you can move the z-axis up and down. For mine, the perfect height is from the work surface, the surface that you're going to burn, to the front of the laser, that's the body, not the lens, is 600 thousandths. And then I focused it from there. And now that you've moved the Z, when you say get position, Z is not going to be 0, so you need to go through this power up, power down again, so it understands that's 0. Because when you try to burn, it's going to run it to 0, and your laser is going to be out of focus. Okay, so that's the fire button. You click it, laser stays on, click it again, laser goes off. Alright, so you're all set up to go, and I've already gone through settings. The machine settings is nothing. This is just reading already what's in your machine. You can change things there or in the commands console. No big deal. Right, I never really looked at machine settings here because there's a read and write. So yeah, soft limits, faults. Interesting. I gotta research some of this stuff. Okay. So yeah, I've been through weeks and weeks and hours of working with it, so it's very hard for me to remember exactly what I went through. Move from absolute machine. Yeah, interesting. All right, but once I'm done with this, you can go out to YouTube. lightBurn has their own tutorials. It'll tell you all about all this wonderful stuff. Program's been fantastic. I haven't really had to go to any tutorials to figure anything out. It's just boom, done. All right, so cuts over here. This is, I need to make something. So, all right. So here's a nice little half-inch square. I set my grids up for half-inch. And you just double-click up here, and this is your settings. I thought I changed this to diode. D-I-O-D-E from LED. Here's your speed, and here's the maximum power for MDF. I'm using 30 or 40 for speed, inches per minute, and 47 for power. Anything below 47, and the laser just does not burn. You get a light, but it doesn't burn. So you'll have to experiment if you got a different laser or lower power or whatever. Cut through, you enable this if you really want to burn all the way through your material. So that's what cut through is. So this is ready to go right now. Actually, not with these settings. Well, it depends on what I have under there. If I had aluminum or something, that was the settings that I use, full power and very slow, 10 inches per minute. All you have to do is hit start and boom, it goes. Tutorials will show you about this optimized settings down here. So I'm not going to show burning, but I will in another segment show some of the stuff that I did play with. So I don't think there's anything else that I need to talk about, right? Oh, yes, one more. This guy is wonderful over here. You have your piece of wood or whatever under there, and you don't know where this is going to get burned. So you click on this guy, and wherever you click here on your screen is where that laser is going to move. So if I want to know if my material is going to get burned, I can click right here, dead center, and the laser will move to dead center of where it's going to burn this square. That is a fantastic tool. I've used that countless times. So alright, so I think that's it for the software. Like I said, you ask me anything you want. I'll be all too happy to answer questions or help out. Okay, to explain the problem. lightBurn has two different devices that you can load. One is GRBL and the other is GRBL M3. If you load GRBL as your device, you're going to use the acceleration deceleration features within GRBL 1.1. And this is the problem right here, kind of in a graph. Don't pay attention to the numbers. I've just kind of picked something here, entering in numbers to kind of get the principle of what's going on across. This vertical axis here is going to be the laser power. This line here is laser power and acceleration going on, or movement perhaps, because I've got this as x-axis. Let's just talk about x-axis. X is moving here, and I've got millimeters in here, so just to put something in there. Okay, so let's say you programmed your lightBurn. It's going to go to 60% laser power because you're burning something, whatever, a picture, I don't know. Okay, so what happens is your axis is stopped, dead stopped. It's going to start moving and accelerating until it hits its full speed up here. As it starts accelerating, the laser power is also being ramped up. So you won't see any visible laser dot until some point along here. And that's where I'm saying, okay, all of a sudden now you can see a dot, but between here and here, it's not burning anything. So you can see right off the bat that I'm moving a little over 3 millimeters here, and I'm not burning anything because it's not even visible, and then it's visible, but it's not up to at least 46% to start burning. And then all of a sudden it starts burning, and it's working good because now it's still accelerating and it's still ramping the power up. So you get a nice crisp line until it's at full power or programmed power and it's at full speed. That's the acceleration feature in GRBL 1.1 if in lightBurn you select GRBL as your device. If you select in lightBurn GRBL-M3, it doesn't do this. It just immediately turns the laser on. And every single video, YouTube video that I've seen, I have a feeling nobody knows what's going on because I see these burned corners and so on. And like I said, if it was not for the tremendous support and help of lightBurn, I wouldn't have even known about this curve. So let me show you some examples of it. And this is what I see all the time on YouTube, is burned corners, big dots all over the place. So here is a classic of running GRBL and not the M3 with the accelerations. and you can see the missing section as it accelerates until it starts burning, and then the power cuts out as it decelerates until it's dead stopped and ready to start going in the other direction. Here I've played with it a little bit differently. Well, let me say, yeah, that's about it. Okay, so this now, if I'm running the M3, I'm not using the acceleration feature. So as the laser starts moving, it's very slow, so it's overburning because it's at full power. And again, this is what I see on everybody's channel. And I do the same thing. I said, well, I'd rather have this burned stuff than missing sections. So this is a classic. It starts to move. It's at program power, but it's not moving very fast, so it's sitting on these spots too long. And you can actually see it's wide, and then it gets thinner, and then the line. These other ones here, I'm running M3, the GRBL-M3 in lightBurn, and I took the acceleration way up on it, and I get better results. But the problem is it's starting to beat the machine to death because you can hear everything getting whacked around. And this is kind of classic here. You can see the text is missing all kinds of pieces. So, and when I'm running M3, this is pretty good. It's overburned, but I was just playing around, experimenting. So I'm just gonna choose M3 and reasonable accelerations that the machine, I think, can handle over a period of time, and just deal with, you know, there's a classic one. It's pretty good, but you can see slightly burned corners. So that is the basic difference between the devices in lightBurn, and that's an explanation of what the problem is. Now, if the guy that created the freeware open source, or whatever you want to call it, 1.1, put in a minimum laser power, it would be a lot better because it would start ramping here. And so this whole, I guess, what? No. Yeah, I guess it would just go straight on. So if you're a dead stop, what happens is this would happen. You would just turn the laser full on as you're ramping up. I don't know. Probably a bunch of different ways to resolve it, but this is the basic problem that there is right now. Just experimenting here with different stuff. Aluminum, and this is my, oh shoot, I can't remember the kind of paint. Duplicolor. This is their yellow. Not sure if you can see it, but it will engrave it. It's just a matter of playing with some of the settings to make it a little bit wider. Looks like it burnt it. It's a darker yellow. Stick font, that's 1/2 inch tall. What else to say about that? Full power, travel speed of 10. And because I found out I need to do this dial with the numbers, I was just playing with black paint. Yeah, I can see all the light glare in here, but sorry, but oh, there, better. I didn't have to go out to YouTube to learn how to run lightBurn. Great program. This took me like 10 minutes to do that. This was just a test. I was going to type the same stick font, and it burnt right through it. This is Home Depot. This is their engine black high temperature gloss stuff, and it burned right through it down to the aluminum. So this too, now I can either paint the dial black that I made for the threading, or I can try doing the gold, and even scaling it. It's 775,000 circle, boom, done. So I'm pretty darn excited about the quality of this and what I can do.